Hi, and welcome to today's training. My name is Stephanie Tunis, and I'm the Public Affairs Chair at the Junior League of Boca Raton. And today we're going to talk about 5 tips to get your members excited about advocacy. Now, while I'd love to say that I was a legislative analyst or a lawyer or something with a lot of background knowledge that would help apply to advocacy, I actually work in IT, training people on how to use Citrix technology. So, you may be wondering, how does the Junior League of Boca Raton have a lot of tips about getting members engaged in advocacy? Well, because we had really kind of a baseline of net new and needing to learn everything ourselves, we found a lot of tips and tricks along the way that we can share with you to help get your members engaged. And I'm here to tell you, if we can do it, you absolutely can do it. These tips are meant to be simple and easy to execute for your leagues on minimal budget. So let's take a look. To help lay the foundation for our 5 tips, I'm going to tell you a little backstory on some of the events we hosted this year. Our first event was Bills and Bubbles. This event allowed for us to talk to our membership about all of the impact that we had up in Tallahassee during our Junior League fly-in with the State Public Affairs Committee, and really our lessons learned from the legislative process. We also hosted a Women in Advocacy panel during that event, which is a big hit, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. Our Election 411 event allowed for us to educate our members on some of the upcoming amendments that they were going to be able to vote on, so that they were able to feel really confident when they went into that voter's booth. And lastly, our legislative breakfast paired members of the community with elected officials so that we could really foster open discussion with our round tables at our legislative breakfast event. So these events and others really helped us to understand what it was our membership was in need of. And the first thing that we learned is that if you teach them, they will come. Members are hungry to learn more about the advocacy process and how they can get involved. It's really critical to get a sense of what gaps they have with your membership from a knowledge base so that you can get a better understanding of what they're looking to learn, and you can craft your educational series accordingly, and your different events or webinars or however you choose to train your members, that you really are honing into topics that are going to be interesting and approachable for them. Because we know that the political realm can be really intimidating. So by asking yourself what information could help your membership, that can go a long way. And you don't have to know the answers necessarily. You can tap into local experts to help train those members. So pairing with people like the League of Women Voters or other groups, potentially other elected officials and things like that, can really help to take that knowledge and bring it out to the masses within your league, but also educate your committee as well. One event I would like to spotlight is our Election 411 event, because this was a perfect example of our team going to our membership, getting a sense of what they're looking to learn, and we heard a lot of concern about the upcoming election and that they didn't really know what the amendments really meant, and they're very complicated when they're in their language and how they're written. So we did realize that was a need for our membership. So what we did is we partnered with the League of Women Voters, and we actually opened this event up to the community. So people brought their friends, their moms, other women, so that they can all come and learn. And we went amendment by amendment and just talking about the facts. This is a bipartisan event. We were by no means telling them vote yes on this one, no on this one. It was strictly, this is what the language means and this is the outcome if you vote yes, and this would be the outcome if you vote no. And we were able to provide a really neat little cheat sheet that the members were able to fill out with what they learned, so that they could take that sheet into the voters booth and actually know how they had decided to vote. So it was really all about just educating them so that they could make a confident and educated decision when they hit the voters booth. And as many of you know, if you're familiar with the legislative process and the Florida Constitution, there is a lot of stuff in the Constitution, a lot of amendments in there, even amendments about pregnant pigs, right? So definitely it's stands to reason that it's no wonder that our members were a little bit confused. So we definitely plan to do events like this in the future. We had really high attendance. It was a very simple event to put on in pairing with the League of Women Voters, and it really did help make a difference. And it was a great way to dip our toe in the water when it comes to educating our members on public affairs, because it was something that was really helping them and getting them involved with our committee and helping us to make some connections. And we saw a lot of the members that came to that first training coming to future events. Our second tip is spotlighting women in advocacy. We hosted a women in advocacy panel so that our members could see women who are already doing this today, and they could ask questions and get a sense on how to get involved and pick their brains. But we actually decided for this event very strategically to select women who were in our league, who were already active in advocacy. So we didn't go chasing down, the mayor and the city councilwoman and all of those, deemed experts. We actually wanted to showcase that there were real women in our own league that were making a difference today through advocacy and sharing those stories. That really was a part of our plan to help make advocacy approachable to our membership, because we actually have a ton of members doing advocacy work for a lot of different organizations, whether it be sitting on the community advisory panel or the World Wildlife Fund, Pace Center for Girls. We had a lot of talent and expertise within our league, and we wanted to showcase that. And of course, with any event like this, with a panel, it's definitely smart to put some seed questions together so that if, the audience needs to warm up a little bit, they need to think about their questions a tad, that's fine. You have a few key questions that you want to get out there to the panel. And our members were really engaged. They felt really comfortable with these women because it was people that they know and love. Now, that's not to say you can't have additional experts from outside the league. You certainly can. But to keep it really simple, you certainly can also ask people who are in your very own league. And other ways you can spotlight women in advocacy could be through social media spotlights. Tell their story, give a little background, and show their impact, and then allow for people to contact them with questions and things like that. So that's another great way to showcase that advocacy is for everyone. Our third tip on how to get your members involved in advocacy is to partner up. You can partner with organizations in your community to help expand your reach in your drive for advocacy education and getting your members involved. So, to give you an example, the Junior League of Boca Raton actually paired with the Boca Chamber of Commerce for our legislative breakfast event, and it was an amazing result. Not only did we get more people to that event than ever before, but we got a lot of different types of people. So yes, we have Junior League members, which is great, but we also had business leaders, leaders in the community, nonprofit leaders, all of this, really big, diverse group of ideas and thoughts. Pair that with our elected officials. Now, because we had two strong organizations coming together, we had an even greater pull for our elected officials to come to our event. And that allowed us to have really strategic roundtable sessions where we paired the community and our elected officials to talk about issues that were in our community and really have those deeper, meaningful conversations. And everyone who went to the event really got a lot out of it. And that partnership really helped us to up-level that event and broaden our reach. So you don't have to feel like you need to go at it alone. Tap into those other organizations and that expertise, whether it's another junior league in your area or another type of organization or nonprofit within your community. Next up, we encourage you to determine your battle cry. So what do we mean by a battle cry? Really, it's selecting a theme for the year that everyone can get behind. So for example, Our theme this year is the year of empowering women voters, and that drives everything that we do. And it really ties into our celebration of 100 years of women having the right to vote. So we really are kind of trying to weave that theme into all of our events, our social media, and our members know what to expect from us. They want to get involved, and it's something that they can tap into. So have a hashtag, have collateral that you can kind of tie into all of your different events and the things that you're doing, and find ways to have fun with it. So really a great way to tie it into your communications and kind of have this theme. So you can see here we're wearing our Votes for Women sashes as we're celebrating the 19th Amendment during our year of empowering women voters. So really think about what is that message or what is that theme that can really get your members excited for each given year. Our fifth tip for engaging your members in advocacy is to get social. So keep in mind that you can really, with social media, keep your members informed at every step of the way. Throughout the year, there's so many things that you're doing, so many wins, so much information that you're learning. Be sure to share that with your members and be strategic about how you're accessing your members and getting this information out. So definitely encourage at least 5 posts a month throughout the year. You can definitely do more as well, and you can kind of map those out, and you can even assign someone on your committee to have the role of being the social media liaison for your specific committee. So whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, a combination of all of them, it's a great way to meet members where they are. So some of the things you could post, obviously anything involving driving attendance to events, but it can be more than that too. What's legislation that you're following, that your committee is following and keeping a pulse on? You can do some bill spotlights with a little summary to get people to understand some of that legislative kind of process and what the junior league is going after. And then also you could do spotlighting women in advocacy, little profiles of people on your committee or profiles of elected officials, as long as you make sure to represent both sides of the aisle. You can also showcase recaps from your meetings with legislators. One of the things that we did that was really successful was having a dedicated social media takeover for our Tallahassee fly-in. So every step of the way, for about 3 days, we had 5 to 7 posts a day outlining who we were meeting with, what were the outcomes, what bills were we going after, so that people felt like they were there with us and that they were learning along the way about advocacy right there with us. So we really had a lot of engagement with that, a lot of positive feedback, and it was a great way to surface all of the hard work that we were doing, which sometimes can kind of remain a little hidden and behind the scenes. So I encourage you to use social media, use your league-wide emails to get out from behind the curtain and get your wins out in front of the membership and really help to light a fire under them to get involved as well. And we have a bonus tip for today. One thing to keep in mind is that you should borrow and steal. So I'm not talking about robbing a bank or anything like that. What we're talking about is making sure you don't reinvent the wheel. Throughout the state of Florida or throughout the entire United States, there are a lot of different public affairs committees and also just public affairs experts that you can tap into that content and repurpose and reuse it so that you can take the hard work and the kind of brilliance of all the minds that are really pushing towards advocacy and really doing it effectively and bringing that back to your members. So I'll give you an example. This Junior League of Florida State Public Affairs Committee put together a really beautiful infographic talking about some of the upcoming changes with the texting and driving law that just passed that we were a part of. And we were able to take that infographic and share it out to our league. So we have 23 leagues in the State Public Affairs Committee that are sharing out this infographic to our members, and those members are then sharing that out to people of the community. So it's a really great way to get that message across. So don't feel like you have to create something. Like if another league is doing something really well, reach out to them. Ask if they have some content that you could repurpose so that you can really broaden their reach and work together so you can have a bigger impact. The tactics we shared with you today are really meant to be simple and something you can start doing right away. And while they may seem simple, I assure you they work. And I know that because at the Junior League of Boca Raton, by implementing these tactics, by educating our members, really having that overarching theme for the year, and kind of all of the tactics we talked about here today, by combining them together, we saw a 3x increase in member interest in joining the Public Affairs Committee. So, meaning there's 3 times more people who wanted to sit on the committee than we could allow for. So it just goes to show that we are able to really light a fire under our members, ignite that spark within them for advocacy. Our events also were very well attended. We had a lot of members coming to these events and giving us rave feedback afterwards because they really were able to learn and then go off and take that knowledge and leverage it for what mattered to them. So we had people coming in and learning about the legislative process and how to talk to elected officials and how to get involved at a local level. And then we saw them at a city council meeting. Or we had people coming to our trainings and then they were going to Tallahassee with another group to advocate on behalf of an issue that mattered to them. So they can certainly take the knowledge that you're providing and then go out into the community and leverage it in a million different ways. So we do really encourage you to figure out what interests your membership from an advocacy perspective and tap into it and just try to get them engaged as much as you can so that you can really make a long-lasting impact in the community by kind of bringing advocacy to the masses. And to wrap up, I do want to just give a big shout out and thank you to the Junior League of Florida State Public Affairs Committee. They have done such an excellent job in training and educating the junior leagues in Florida about advocacy, especially from our perspective. The Junior League of Boca Raton was so new to public affairs and to the advocacy process that the information that they provided us was invaluable and really helped us kind of disseminate that information to our membership. So we're so grateful for all that they do to help and train and educate us, and we can only hope to take a lot of that knowledge that they're bringing us and the experiences that they're helping us, dig into by, planning these wonderful trips up to Tallahassee for us to meet with our legislators. We can only hope that we can disseminate that information to our league and create a real love and passion for advocacy for all women as we proceed with the year of empowering women voters.